Hey everybody, thanks for joining me to check out some more metal albums, and we're going to get started right away with the debut full-length album from Evil Army. Evil Army are a thrash band from Memphis. They formed in 2003 and would go on to break up and reform a few times, most recently reformed in 2025. And this album was initially released in 2006. This is the 2025 re-release on Hell's Headbangers. And to this day, this is still the only full-length album they ever released, the runtime being only 25 minutes. So I bought them when seeing them live recently at the Dead by Dog Fest. They were one of my favorite bands of the night. Very high energy set. It took a couple days for the memory to come back to me, but I'm pretty sure they ripped out a cover of Reaper by Bathory. And very American sounding, not miles away from something like Toxic Holocaust. There are moments that are a little bit too crossover for my taste, but my favorite songs on here are definitely Watch Me Fall, Wrong Approach, and Realm of Death. I spent a lot of time listening to some of their splits online recently, and they put out a song called Possessor on one of their splits, which to my ears is the best song I've heard from the band. So, Evil Army, check them out. Staying in the thrash realm, we have The Eighth, and well, not the most recent, they put out a couple since then, but this is The Oath of an Iron Ritual from German band Disaster. Put on Metal Blade. Totally dig Evil Army, but this is a little more to my taste. It's they're always referred to as a blackened thrash band. To me, the music is definitely straight up old school thrash, but sonically more of a black death metal thing. And the atmosphere, vocals, lyrics, definitely more of a evil extreme metal vibe than just a thrash thing. So the highlights for me are the Cleric's Arcanum, the Pleasure to Kill worship of End of Tyranny, and the Destruction influence on Damnatio ad Bestias. For what it is, a pretty varied album, tempos all over the place. These guys got a big back catalog to listen to, and I definitely need to get more physical media from these guys. Next up, this is an album I've had for a couple years. This is The Ailing Facade by New York death metal band Aventern, released on Profound Lore Records in 2022. So I believe two of the members of this band were members of the New York death metal band Flourishing, who have been broken up for a while. And Metal Archives has these guys listed as experimental death metal. I can definitely see that. The death metal itself kind of ranges from the ulcerate to the immolation style. But overall, it's a very cold and clinical feeling release. Major electronic elements, but nothing like industrial sounding. It's just like interlaced electronics into the metal. And it doesn't look like the most extreme thing out there, but this has a very, very negative and anxiety-inducing atmosphere. That's what this music is all about. Yeah, very unpleasant compared to even much more albums that you would consider to be much more extreme than this. Prime example is the second song, Still the Hollow Sway. Feels like kind of an obvious song to bring up, but I think that outlies exactly what this band's all about. And yeah, just very upsetting mood to these guys. The album cover, again, subtle but very creepy. It just brings to mind like Twin Peaks for me. Like sometimes Twin Peaks is very life affirming, but just below the surface, just something very like mysterious and dark. It just reminds me of the dark side of Twin Peaks. And as much as I'm hesitant to throw this in the CD deck, not always what I want to hear. very impressive nonetheless, and curious to hear what these guys come up with next. And we're gonna round this off with some American atmospheric black metal. This is Obsidian Tongue and their fourth and most recent full-length album from 2025, Eclipsing Worlds of Scorn, released on Profound Lore Records. So, what do we have here? This band is new to me, but the band members have been a part of many American black metal acts. The names that stuck out most to me were one member being a live member of Obsequiae and another one being a live member of Panopticon. Two bands, both of whom I totally dig to this day. And I'd say a very American sounding with a dash of Old Norway thrown in there, but with some oddly uplifting parts, such as like the beginning of To Forgive Oneself. Just has kind of an indie feel to it. Definitely a little different. And what influenced me to buy this album was seeing an ad that was saying, you know, if you're looking for the days of Two Hunters and The Mantle, this is something to look into. So the first 5 songs definitely has me thinking, I like these guys, but they are not at the level of the masters. However, the final song, A Theater of Smoke and Wind, I think that is a clear highlight here, and hopefully a sign of even stronger material to come, because I do think classic Wolves in the Throne Room and classic Agalloch is very prevalent on that song. Dash of old Opeth to round it out. And I think this song is a sign of more to come. And again, puts them, you know, into that territory where they're maybe gonna create a classic album in the future. So Obsidian Tongue, another promising American band. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.